Hi, I'm here with Nicole. She works at Cots at the family shelter. She's a staff member. Thanks for coming in and meeting with us today.
Hi, thanks for having me. COTS is the Committee on Temporary Shelter, and we serve a couple of different populations. We serve individuals at our way station, our Eagle's Nest, which are both emergency shelter. We also have a day station, which is a day drop-in shelter. We do permanent housing for individuals who are formerly homeless at St. John's Hall and also the Wilson Hotel. And then my job is at the family shelters. Currently, we have 3 family shelters, and we serve 25 families in shelter. And generally, we're full and we work off of a waiting list. And so our program it's a 6-month program, and the goal is that people will leave our program into permanent housing. And initially there's an 8-week stay, and families come up for a review at the end of those 8 weeks. And reviews are based on 3 things. It's whether or not you're meeting with your case manager, whether you're meeting your savings goal. We require that all families save 40% of their income, and then also that you're following the rules and are generally an okay house member. And part of my job helping people reach the review, I do a contract meeting with 5 of our families, and so that's when you sit down every weekend. You kind of talk about how to make the most of your shelter stay. And then additionally, in addition to what we do in shelter with families, we also have a case management program that operates out of our administrative building, and the case managers are primarily the people who focus on the specific housing plan. So in shelter, we figure out like how do you make the most of your shelter stay. Are you safe? Is it secure? And then case management is more focused on like how are we going to get you into housing. And then additionally, in addition to shelter, case management, permanent housing, we also have a housing resource center, which helps people with security deposits and housing searches. And they do a lot of prevention work, trying to keep people in their homes and avoid losing their housing and becoming homeless.
You talked about a waiting list for the family shelter. Are there a lot of families that are waiting to get in, and is there a big homeless problem growing in the state?
About a year and a half ago, we opened overflow shelter for our families and also for individuals because we had seen our waiting list get so long. This summer, we were seeing a waiting list of 15 to 20 families waiting to get into shelter. Currently, we're actually seeing something that's very unusual, which is that we have a few rooms that are open right now. So that means that if someone called today and they were eligible for our services, they could move right in, which is really great.
Now you just started building a new housing, a veterans housing in Winooski, I believe. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I believe that the veterans housing right now has 4 floors. It's a brand new building. It's been paid for in grants specifically for veterans. So it's really great that we could have that money come through in this really tough economy for nonprofits. But what the building is for, actually, it's going to have 2 program floors, so it's going to be just veterans on those 2 floors, and they're going to have some pretty strict requirements in terms of maintaining sobriety and meeting with a case manager, and it's definitely more of managed living, and they're hoping that within 2 years, people will transition out of that program and into permanent housing that is less programmatic. The second 2 floors are going to be permanent housing, and so I'm not actually sure whether or not that's going to be prioritized for veterans, but I know that non-veterans can also stay there. They're going to have a lot of studio apartments. I think they have 2 bedrooms, so it'll be a nice space that'll create some affordable housing for people who don't need the extra programming piece.
Now I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about you, like how you started working with COTS. What made you even want to work there to begin with?
Sure. I actually have a kind of an interesting story about how I came to be at COTS. And I'm originally from Massachusetts, but I have a lot of family in the area. And when I was growing up, my dad was actually homeless, and that was something that I knew. What I didn't know was that he was actually receiving services through COTS. And in 2005, I came up here to go to college at St. Mike's, and I went on this pre-orientation retreat with their community service office. And one of the first days of the program, what we did a whole tour of COTS, which I thought was really touching for me because I had known that, my family had this background with people being homeless. And not just my dad, but I've also had an uncle and my cousins had experienced homelessness too when I was younger. And so during that first week when I was there, we also we did a dinner at St. John's Hall, which is permanent housing for people who were formerly homeless. And we went in to cook dinner, and it turned out that my dad was living there. Which was just, I was sort of prepared for it, but it was also kind of shocking. But it's a good message to take to people that, anybody can be homeless. And, it's more common than you would think. And it's really easy, I think, for people to get on that slippery slope and fall into into homelessness. So from there, what I did, St. Michael's does dinner at St. John's Hall about once a month, and so I started coming to those regular dinners, but I've always really liked kids, and I've wanted to work with kids, and I've thought a little bit about education, and so I was wondering, how can I help people who are homeless but also work with kids? And I knew that we had family shelters through Cots. And so what I did, I went back to St. Mike's, and I talked to the director at MOVE, which is the Mobilization of Volunteer Efforts, and I said, okay, well, I really want to work with homeless people, but I also want to work with kids, what can I do? And we kind of brainstormed a little bit, and I contacted the volunteer coordinator at Cots at the time, Maya, and I let her know this. And so what I did, I created a program with St. Mike's where we brought childcare into family shelter to help people out while they're cooking dinner. And so we did childcare from 5 to 7 once a week, and I was involved in that program for about 3 years, and it actually got pretty big at St. Mike's, and we started doing field trips, and we took the kids to St. Mike's for dinner and stuff like that, which I found to be really rewarding and really great. So I had really enjoyed that, and once I graduated from St. Mike's, I had a bachelor's in sociology and anthropology, and I've always been really interested in issues of class and issues of social inequalities, and so I wanted to do a year of service, and what I ended up doing was a year of service with the family shelters, and I was their community support staff last year, and then at the end of my term of service, they offered me a position full-time, and so now I'm working in family shelter right now.
Now, Cots has a lot of volunteers, right? I mean, how would someone go about volunteering?
Another program that we have running at the family shelter right now is our Book Buddies program, and this program started a little over a year ago. It was started by one of our staff members, Chris LeMay, and his wife Margie actually was one of our first volunteers, and they started up the program together. What it is, it's a sticker incentive program to kind of promote a love of literacy and reading among our kids and to encourage kind of that bedtime story routine with our families. And so kids come in to the program, and we have usually one reader, sometimes two, and it happens for about 45 minutes, and each kid have a name tag, and they earn stickers for the books that they read, and it's 2 stickers per night maximum, and I think it's 1 sticker for every 4 books. And so once you get 20 stickers, then you can earn a gift certificate to Barnes & Noble. So that's a really popular program. People really like to come in and read. Kids love being read to. So I think that can be really rewarding. We also have one-time volunteer opportunities, such as IBM comes in to do their Days of Caring project. They painted recently, which was really helpful and great. We also have kind of organizational fundraising opportunities that you can be involved in. We have the Phone-a-thon at the end of November. It's the last week of November, first week of December. And then we also have the Cots Walk in May, which most people know about. I believe it's the first Sunday in May. And it's our biggest fundraiser. It's very helpful for our program. So if you want to walk, come out. We also have people prepare lunch for the day station. The day station serves lunch to individuals who drop in every day. They have it at noon, and it's all prepared by volunteers. So if you like to cook, you want to come in, meet some people, chat, serve some food, that's also a really great opportunity.
All right, thanks, Nicole. That was really interesting. Okay, that was Nicole Marshall, a staff member at the Cots Family Shelter. For more information on Cots, you can log on at cotsonline.org.